Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 20th tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we are going to talk about explicit type conversion in PHP, and this is the kind of conversion that we do ourselves without relying on PHP much. So I've got a file opened up in my text editor and it's called explicit.php, and the title of the document is explicit type conversion, and on line number 6 in this file I have the opening PHP tag, on line number 15 I have the closing PHP tag, and then I've got some very simple PHP code, and we're going to talk about it now. So on line number 7 I have created a variable called var, and I have assigned to it the string value 45. Now in the last tutorial when we talked about implicit type conversion, we saw that if suppose you want to perform a mathematical operation on a string value that has digits in it, then you could rely on PHP to make a conversion of the value to an integer value or a fractional value, and then you can perform your mathematical operation. But then you can't always do that. You can't always rely on PHP. So if you want to do it yourself, then the way to do it is by using the setType function. So this function can be used to explicitly change the data type of a variable to something else. So in this case the data type of the variable, as we know, is string. Now if I want to change it to integer, then what I have to do is type in setType, right? And then within parentheses, this function takes in 2 arguments. So within parentheses, the first argument has to be the name of the variable, the data type of which you wish to change, and the second argument has to be the data type to which you want this variable's data type to be switched to, and you have to pass in the second argument as a string value within double quotes. So I want this to be changed to a number, or more specifically an integer, so that's why I would have to type in integer here within double quotes, right? And I have a semicolon to terminate the statement, and then on line number 9 I have echoed out the value of the variable var, and even if we check the value of the variable, we still won't be able to determine whether the data type of it has been changed or not. And there is one way of finding out whether the setType function has worked or not, and that is by using the getType function. So this is something that we checked out in the last tutorial. So if I use the getType function on the variable var, I should see integer as the output and not string. So our first line in the output should be 45, which is the value of var, and the second line in the output should be integer. Next, on line number 11 I have created a numeric variable, and this one's called num, and it has the value 99. So we know that it's a number because it's not enclosed within double quotes. Now if suppose you want to create another variable, and let's say I want to call that variable str, short form for string, and you want to use the value that's present in the variable num but in its string form and not in its numeric form, and you want to store that value in this variable str. The way you can do that explicitly is by typing in the data type string within parentheses, and then following that up with the name of the variable, the value which you wish to use. So if suppose you want to use a string value 99 and store that in the variable str, you would first type in string within parentheses, and then you would type in $num, which is the name of this variable, right? And if I would use the getType function on the variable $num, I should still see integer because I haven't messed up with the data type of my first variable num. I have only changed the data type of the value that's there in the variable num, and I have converted it to string value and then stored it in the variable str. So str is a string variable, there's no doubt about that, but then I haven't changed the data type of the variable num implicitly or explicitly. So the output for this echo statement on line number 13 should be integer, and the output of this echo statement on line number 14 should be string. So our first 2 lines of output were 45 and integer, and that was for this echo statement in which we've just echoed out the value of the variable var, and this echo statement in which we've checked the data type of the variable var using the getType function, and this is after we've converted it to an integer value. And then the output of these 2 must be integer and string. Now let's check out the output of this file in the browser. So I request for explicit.php. When I press the enter key, we see that the output that we get is as expected. So we see 45 in the first line of the output, we see integer in the second line, integer again in the third line, and we see string in the fourth line, right? So this was very simple, and it's also very useful. Both these functions, setType and getType, are extremely useful functions, and we'll be using them probably a lot in this course. and I hope you guys had fun watching this video. I'll see you in the next tutorial when we'll talk about more interesting and important PHP concepts. And feel free to comment on this video, and in case you have any queries, you can send me messages, or you can send me emails too if you want, and I'll try to reply to as many as possible, as soon as possible. And I'm going to see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching this one, and take care.